All right. Well, the divine command theory then is our third one that we're covering, and the editor talks about, and each of these goes through a definition, a short historical concept, and then a biblical basis for holding these. So that's what our author, or our editor, is doing here.
Right, and this divine command theory is the famous one that non-theist, atheists, and that sort of thing like to beat up on. This is the
Right.
one that they jump on, and so he gives briefly ways that divine theorists attempt to defend the divine command theory. So we'll briefly see some of that as we go through this here.
Yeah. So it hasn't been knocked out of contention yet. Well, a divine command moralist is one who maintains that the content of morality, what is right and wrong, good and evil, just and unjust, and the like, is directly and solely dependent on the commands and prohibitions of God. This definition rests on three critical pillars. So first, divine command theory starts with a volition rather than reason, that natural law does, or affection, that virtue ethics does. That God's commands are a product of the divine will, and correspondingly, the proper human response is obedience. Just obey. Just do the thing that you're told, and you'll live rightly. So you adjust your will to match God's will to these requirements. So that's the first pillar. The second pillar is that since these directives originate in God's will, that they may be opaque to reason and thus are known, or at least mostly clearly known, by revelation. It must be revealed to you. The law, the commands from Scripture, the letters being written to these people to do these good things so that you will live rightly. So those are the two. And then the final pillar that divine command theory rests on is that since God is the sovereign being, no external standards determine what God's will or what God will or must command. Otherwise, such a standard imposes a limitation on God's freedom and power. And so we would turn to and say, well, if there's something that's waiting on God, why don't we turn to that and figure out what that standard is? So we can't take a step back further because God is the ultimate being, the big guy, the cheese at the top. And so there's nothing above him that requires him to do those things or make those commands or make those precepts to say, don't do these things. And so we know we can trace back the source to the originator of those.